Good morning to all of them. Yes, we studied about different type of tissues in last classes and think you are messed up with all those tissues, isn't it? So when we are seeing about the tissues, as we know there will be presence of different types of cells in different types of cells in our body, as they are important for the functions that take part in our body. So not only the cells, the tissues that present in our body and plant's body, in any organism's body, have different types of functions to be done. Okay, so in last classes we have studied about different types of cells that are present in plant bodies and plant tissues, like complex permanent tissues, simple permanent tissues, isn't it? So we have studied those all things. Okay, and I think in the very just previous class we have studied about animal tissues, isn't it? Animal tissues. What all we have studied about animal tissues? Do you understand that, or you think about that, or you recall about that? Okay, yes. What is animal tissues means? As we know, there are tissues which present in our body to make the functions possible. As we know, when we breathe, our chest will become upward, and after breathe out, it will become go inward. So downward. So how it is possible? Our chest, how it is working? How it is working? It's because of the muscle cells or muscle tissues that present in our body. Okay, the muscle cells that are present in our body. To take the materials from the body to the necessary parts and take the unnecessary waste substances from the body to excrete. Okay, for the excretion, which tissue is helping? The blood tissue. The blood tissues or blood cells are included in connective tissues. Okay, so now we are going to study about, or we are going to recall about the epithelial tissues. What? The epithelial tissues. Yes, we studied about that in the previous classes, and I know you are some much more messed up with some muscles. Okay, but we want to study about it as the cell or the covering or protection tissue that we see outside an animal is called as the epithelial tissues. Okay, that is called as the epithelial tissues. So when we are saying about that, epithelium covers most organs and cavities within the body. It also forms a barrier to keep different body systems separate. And also when we are saying about epithelial cells, we want to say that the materials want to just, if the materials are present, we don't know the materials are present or not. If the materials or if the transportation or the what we see, the giving and taking of materials from the environment into the inside of the body, if it is taking place inside the animal, it should enter through one of the epithelial cells. Should enter through one of the epithelial cells. Okay, so as we know, there are different types of cells present in our body. As it is, we said about different types of cells in our body. We know that different cells have different functions. And when we are saying about epithelia, different epithelia show differing structures that correlate with their unique functions. Different epithelia show differing structures that correlate with their unique functions. Okay, for example, in cells lining blood of vessels or lung alveoli, where transportation of substances occur through a selectively permeable surface, and there is a simple flat kind of surface that present in that is simple squamous epithelium that we studied, isn't it? Simple squamous epithelium. And also, when an absorption and secretion occur, there is a columnar epithelium, which will look like a pillar, and it will help in the absorption and secretion in animal body. Okay, these all we have studied about epithelial tissues. Next, we are going to study about connective tissue. Connective tissue. Yes, connective tissue. Okay, this is also some much more what we say important in case of cells. So we will tell about something that present in the cells. Okay, next class we will conclude it. Okay, and in our textbook from 74 to 76, it is about connective tissue. It's about connective tissue. Okay. Connective tissue. As we said first, blood is an example for the connective tissue. Okay, blood is an example for the connective tissue. So blood is a type of connective tissue. So when we say about connective tissue, why it is so called as connective tissue? Why would the blood is called as a connective tissue? Okay, and when we say about connective tissue, why it's called so? We have said it in the introduction that connective tissues have the connection between the body to give and take the materials that are needed for the body and the waste materials that are not needed for the body. So it has some connections with the body. A clue is the clue about this is provided in the introduction of this chapter. Okay, so when we say about that, the cells of connective tissues are loosely spaced and embedded in a intercellular matrix. Loosely spaced and intercellular and embedded in intercellular intercellular matrix. Okay, loosely spaced and embedded in intercellular matrix. Okay, loosely spaced and embedded in intercellular matrix. Okay, the matrix may be jelly-like, fluid, dense, or rigid. Jelly-like, fluid, dense, or rigid. Okay, it will be jelly-like, fluid, dense, or rigid. Okay, so the connective tissues are loosely spaced and embedded in intercellular matrix, and intercellular matrix which contains jelly, it is like jelly-like, fluid, dense, or rigid. Okay, the nature of the matrix which differs in the concordance with the function of the particular connective tissue. It will the matrix characters, the matrix, the concordance of this tissue, this matrix will change according to the connective tissue and according to the function of the particular connective tissue. Okay, so these all are about the connective tissue. Blood is type of a connective tissue. Okay, for that why it is called as connective tissue is given via example is given in the introduction part. And we have said that the cells of the connective tissues are loosely spaced and pumped in intracellular matrix. And matrix is like jelly-like, fluid, dense, or rigid. Okay, rigid. The nature of matrix differs in concordance with the function of the particular connective tissue. Okay, function of the particular connective tissue. Okay. So we are getting into the next section. Okay, I think you understand. Okay, we are getting to the next section. Page number 74, 76. Now we are getting to 75, page number 75. Okay, I think you understand about the connective tissue. Okay. Sorry for the inconvenience caused. Yes, we are getting to the next section that, and we are seeing about connective tissue. When we say about blood, blood has a fluid matrix. Okay, have a liquid matrix called plasma, in which red blood corpuscles, white blood corpuscles, and platelets are present, or it will be seen as a suspended particles. Okay, blood has a fluid-like structure. Okay. Plasma, which contain okay, so blood has a fluid matrix or fluid fluid like, it's not fluid like, it's fluid, it's liquid matrix, that is plasma, which contains RBC, WBC and platelets. What is an RBC? RBC means red blood corpuscles. W means white corpuscles. Okay, red blood corpuscles and white blood corpuscles and platelets are suspended inside this matrix. Okay, so the plasma contains what all are the nutritional condition of this or what all are contained in a plasma? The plasma will contain proteins, salts and hormones. Salt and hormones. Proteins, salt and hormones are present in the plasma. Okay, so when we say about plasma, blood flows and transport. Okay, plasma is, as we say, blood is a main tissue, blood is main cell that present in our body. It has some functions. So when the blood flows, and what will they do? transport will transport gases, digested food, hormones, waste materials. Waste materials to different parts of the body. So what we have all said about a blood, isn't it? What we all have now said about is the blood. So when we say about a blood, we want to say that there is a fluid matrix or liquid like matrix, that is plasma. Okay, that is plasma, okay, which contains the cells RBC, WBC and platelets. RBC, WBC and platelets. What is RBC? Red blood corpuscles. What is WBC? White blood corpuscles. Platelets. Okay. And when we say about the transport, okay, so these are present in the blood. And so when we say about the plasma which will have proteins, salt, hormones in it. Okay, proteins, salt, hormones in it. Okay, proteins, salt, hormones in it. And what is the function of it? It will help to transport gases, digested food, hormones and waste materials. Okay, gases, digested food, hormones and waste materials. Okay, this is the function of the plasma. Okay, next we are getting into the next section, that connective tissue itself. The next example for a connective tissue is that is bone. Bone. The next step of connective tissue, that is bone. I think you understand about the plasma and about the connective tissue. Okay. Okay. In the next class, we will conclude the chapter. Okay. Within next class, we will conclude the chapter. Okay. Next is bone. What is the specialty of bone? Bone is another example for connective tissue. It forms the framework that supports the body. Form okay. It forms the framework that supports the body. Okay. So then what is happening? It also anchors the muscles and supports the main organs of the body. It also anchors the muscles and supports the main organs of the body. It is a strong and non-flexible tissue. It is a strong and non-flexible tissue. It's a strong and non-flexible tissue. Strong and non-flexible tissue. Okay. So bone cells are empacked in a hard matrix that is composed of calcium and phosphorus. It contains calcium and phosphorus. Okay. Calcium and phosphorus. So bone is another example of connective tissue. It forms the framework that supports the body. It also anchors the muscles and supports the main organs of the body. It is a strong and non-flexible tissue. Bone cells are embalmed in a hard matrix that is composed of calcium and phosphorus compounds. Calcium and phosphorus compounds. Okay. Calcium and phosphorus compounds. Okay. I think you understand about this. So today we are concluding here about the connective tissue, because it's so much more how to be studied about the connective tissue. So if you get the animal tissues and the epithelial tissue only, we can study about the remaining connective tissues and muscular tissues, okay, that present in our body. So I think you understand this class, and in the next class we will conclude what it is all going in the connective tissue and the muscular tissue. Okay, I think you understand. You should read the textbook and should recollect the points, and you should write the note. Okay, I'm concluding this class. Thank you.